Okay, it's a Potterton Performer 28. There it is, Potterton Performer 28. So it's a Potterton boiler. Now with this, what we've got is no spark. That's one. I've got the thermostat. I mean, I've turned the boiler off at the moment. The thermostat is on maximum. So when I turn it on, we should have the fan move, and I can feel the fan move when I put my hand on there. Sorry, the pump move when I put my hand on there, so I know the pump's functioning. I can see that the fan's turning on. Okay, so the fan's spinning. However, there is no ignition. I don't see a spark anywhere there. Now, the electrode appears to be fine, but I will give that a clean using some fine 120 grit sandpaper. And then what I will do is also have a look at the diverter valve, because let me see if I can find it. I can locate it. There it is. It's just whether I can get the angle. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. What I'm trying to do is show that. So when I turn on the central heating, this here, so this here, that top section there, that's your micro switch, and you can see the switch at the bottom there. So what happens is, in the diverter valve, you get central heating water flow, and that puts out a pin in the diverter valve, hits the micro switch, you can hear that, and that then activates the boiler. Yeah, so that a pin comes out from there, activates the boiler, and it should fire up. The whole sequence should start, but obviously, like as I said, there is no spark. But just to show that that is working, if I turn the boiler on now, so if I can find the control, turn the boiler on, there you go, you see the pump come out, turn it back off, it's gone in. So you can see, sorry, let me focus on that again. Move that down. There. Now, you should see it as soon as I turn it back on. There you go. Watch. There. So that activates the switch, so it's ready. Now, what I can tell you is, the pump is spinning, the fan will kick in, so pump spinning, I can feel that. There's the fan, you can hear the fan, you can see it spin. However, there is no spark. So here, there is no spark at all. So the flame, so that's your spark generator, this one here. That's your flame detection electrode. Now that isn't sensing a flame, so it should do a no flame signal, which is what it's doing. However, on the flip side, if I was to put this on just hot water, the problem we've got here is this is your hot water micro switch, and just there behind there, just like the central heating micro switch, that pin there, so there's a pin in there, that should come out when you turn the hot water on, and that should press that, start the cycle. Now when I do it manually, you can hear it start the cycle. Again, when I do it manually, the pin doesn't come out, by the way. When I put the hot water on, that pin is not popping out to turn the micro switch on. But when I do it manually, hit the pin, again, I'm not getting a spark. So one of the problems we've got here is diverter valve, and the other problem we've got is the micro switch. So I've done it by hand, it's going through the cycle, but there's no spark. You can see there's no spark. So diverter valve, absolutely there's an issue there, and the miter switch is not the miter switch. So diverter valve is an issue, and electrode seems to be an issue at the moment. So I'll clean the electrode and I'll give it a go and see what that does. Okay, I've come back to this Potterton Performer 28. Now I've taken off the spark generator. Here it is. Now the spark generator, which fits there, okay, there's your earth wire. It's got a live and neutral that goes there, and it gets a voltage feed. You can see the cable there. It's going all the way around. Let me just have a look. It's going all the way around. Let me just try and find it. Well, anyway, that voltage feed goes all the way around, and it fits here into slot A1. Now, I was going to test the voltage, so turn the boiler on, disconnect this, and then just test the voltage, or in fact, even without disconnecting, just test that there's a voltage being sent to the actual voltage spark generator from the actual PCB. But now, just having taken it off, I can see that maybe the PCB is shot. You can see there's two resistors there that have burnt out. Now what I'll do is, obviously, now that I'm here, I will still do that test to see if there's a voltage, but I suspect that given that, you know, there's a burnt, well, that's absolutely burnt residue, burnt resistors there, the likelihood is maybe the PCB is actually shot. But anyway, I'm going to do that by connecting my voltmeter. So I will set my voltmeter to DC 230, and then once I've done that, I will then obviously connect it up to here. So on my voltmeter, you can see here, DC, I will send it. So there's your DC voltage, there's your AC. I'll set it to 600 and just see what voltage reading you get. And I should get something above 150. At least one above 110. As long as I get something above 110, I would suspect that there's a signal being sent, or voltage being sent to the actual generator itself, in which case the generator can confirm then is working. If there isn't a voltage being sent, then I know that the PCB is definitely shot. But anyway, let me get on with that. Okay, here you can see I've connected it back up. What I did was I disconnected the actual electrode from the generator, and I've taken it off, put it back in, taken it off, put it back in, just to clear the connection if there was an issue there. I could check the continuity of the actual electrode from this end right to the actual firing section, spark section right at the top. But even before I go anywhere there, I need to check that there's voltage being sent to the spark generator. Now, to do that, the heating is on, the thermostat's on max. I'm going to put this heating on max as well. I will then put this into the central heating mode, and the boiler will go through the sequence of trying to fire up. Now, as it tries to fire up, obviously I'm expecting at some point in that sequence for there to be a voltage at, you know, between pins 3 and 5 to the spark generator, and that is what I'm looking out for. So I'm going to turn the boiler on, and I'm going to actually go through that sequence right now. So if I turn this on, there's my live, there's my neutral, and I don't know if you can see that, but no voltage. And by now the ignition sequence should have started, but I'm not getting a voltage on my voltmeter. There's my connections connected, but no voltage. There's no other burn marks. appear as though the PCB won't have already removed 04/10/2021. So it might be a fairly new PCB. Okay. It's burnt through, but that's the only burning residue I can see. Can't see anything else. That's that.